sensible one. And as you can see, we have a nice Cobra here. And before you all start getting on the comments, it's not actually fiberglass, it's a real one, a genuine real one. And this is in for a complete bare metal respray. We will basically strip it back to the alley, do any leveling up we need to do, get rid of all the stone chips, and I'll show you the defects and a few other nice little special bits about it. And then we will start the strip down. First of all, we're going to do a basically check everything works, check the lights, all the mechanical stuff, go through it, and then we'll strip it down, start stripping the paint, and crack on with the repaint stage. So come and have a look, and I'll show you around it. So as you can see, this is a Cobra built by Carroll Shelby, but it's a later car, but under the Shelby name. It's classed as a genuine one, but not an original 60s car. So if you come on down through here, Stan, I will start off with this cool piece here. We'll start with this before we accidentally wipe it off with thinners. The man himself has signed the dash. I think we've got a picture of that, maybe a little clip of him when he was doing that. So that's cool. So we're not allowed to touch that. It was all covered up and we've uncovered it. Not allowed to, oh, don't touch it. Don't you touch it either, because you're an idiot.
Oh God, so, keep the Brillo away from that.
Starting with the body, you'll see all these bits of tape everywhere. They have things written. Inside out damage. See where all the stones have come up, beat all the body.
What is that, Charles?
Can you see that? Well, it's a race car, isn't it? But now there is foam padding under all the arches now to try and stop that. Another piece of sticker here, no paint on the arch. And as we go around, we've got bent fins, stone chips, road rash, stone dents from the inside. Back's not too bad, but we'll obviously, you've seen the stuff we do before in the cars, we will get all of these panels fitting level and nice all the way around, just so it really does look like a kit car. You know, everything fit real nice. Few more bits of road rash, level the doors up. Other than that, that is basically it. Obviously, if you know what these are like, all the insides of the panels are bare aluminium. So it's like an external repaint with just the first sort of inch in the shuts that we'll do. We'll clean all of that back. Then, I suppose, really, you want to see underneath the bonnet, don't you? Because that's what we want to see. So, now this is a little bit special under here because it's got a Rover V8. Oh, it hasn't got a Rover V8. Someone has actually gone through the effort of putting a proper 427 all alley block and dry sump on this. We got to try not to get loads of filler dust and primer and everything down through these weathers. We got some covers for them. As you see again, alley underneath there. So is that a long enough intro?
That's a nice introduction.
Is everyone know what we're doing? Make sure you like, comment, ring the bell. Do comment, because you know there's going to be Cobra experts out there that's probably going to go, mate, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. This will probably be 2 episodes, I reckon. We'll do this. If we can squeeze it into one, we'll do it in one, but it'll probably end up being 2 episodes. So I'm going to stop wasting your time, get this stripped down, and start work on it. When I say I, Stan and AD.
And work.
He's over there. Hello. Right, let's do it then. Cue the music. So we have pretty much done the main work of the bare metaling now with the hot air gun and scraped it all off. So we've just given it a quick clean off where we had it masked up. So we'll remask it again and then flick over the whole shell with a DA. As you see, we've done the panels already. The boot lid there, the bonnet there. So yeah, we just do that to the shell. It wasn't anything too horrendous. I had a little bit more filler than I was expecting, especially on that, around that headlight and down that side. Got a little crack just on the edge of the arch here. And you see where it's gone in? It's gone in a little bit through there. We've got a little crack in the alley that will weld up. Other than that, it's quite good. There's a bit down on this wing where it's had a little love tap in there before. So we'll straighten all of that up, planish it out. That is where we're at the moment. So yeah, we're just going to go over this with the DA with some 80 grit on it and clean it right back up like the panels. And then we will start looking at getting it into epoxy primer so we can start all the leveling up and the filler work. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, that is the shell all cleaned back. We've DA'd it off. So you can't see the DA marks at the moment because we've gone over it and flattened it down so it all looks a bit brushed now. Not for any real reason other than because it looks cool, doesn't it? Just to show off. Because when else do you get the opportunity to have a bare metal Cobra in the workshop? Also, we have refitted the panels and I've gone round and I've given them a tweak, I've shimmed them, I've got them to fit a little bit better than they were before, and level is nicer, so we can try and cut back some of the filler that was in it. Don't want to use as much filler that was in it before. That is basically where we are. I'm just going to wheel it down now and weld that little crack on the arch. Strip the panels off. You can see down this side, it's had a little incident before at some point in its life. Front wing and the back wing. So once it's all brushed as well, like this, you can sort of see the ripples and joints where they've made the panels and sections. You can also see here where someone's leant on that and gone, holy shit, is that 427? Alright, dented it. So I've already noticed something that might give us a little bit of grief with this project. Each car has their own little ways and things that try and fuck you up. But this one I noticed, when I was fitting the doors, if you come in and have a look, Stan, this is obviously with no material on it. The front edge of this door is already to the wing when you come open, quite close to the edge. Obviously you might be looking at that going, there's loads of space, mate. You could put a dick in there. But by the time we've got filler, polyester, primer, and then the paint, that's going to close that gap up because obviously it'll be on the door edge and the wing edge. So we're going to have to be careful of that. And there's also a tight one on the front edge of the bonnet as it comes over. Same sort of deal as it comes up and over. We're going to have to be careful not to get too much material in there, because the only thing that's going to do, catch on that and rip a huge chunk off. Real tears, real tears. That's where we are. So we're going to strip the panels back off now, clean the shell, mask it, get it in the booth, and we're going to get some epoxy primer on it, and then we'll repanel it so we can start the filler work. And that's where we're at. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Okay, we have got the Cobra masked up. As you can see, we've just done it in a quick mask with the poly mask rather than the paper. We'll do the paper when it gets right through to the end to when we put the colour on. It's all been prepped, cleaned and ready to go. So if we go out, obviously the panels are in here as well, and we've done it so we can just do the back edge of the panels also. Aidy's now mixing up the epoxy primer, which is a 3-to-1, so we'll put 2 coats of that on and that will just seal in all the aluminium, and then we can start the filler work next week. But we'll put all the panels back on for that, start shaping it up. Okay, the Cobra, as you can see, is now epoxied. It's in the booth, and we've got it back out, repanelled the shell, and Amy has just gone over it with the DA and keyed up all of the epoxy, and he's just going around the edges now with some 180 sponge. And the next job is to degrease it, clean it all up, and then start the filler work and leveling it all up so it looks straight. I suppose we better put on a little bit of a time lapse maybe of us doing some filler work, show you how to do it. Anything else, Dan?
Is it straight?
Is the car straight?
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah.
No, the car's not straight. The car's not straight. It might look good in the camera, like an exaggeration. I don't know if you've seen in some of our other videos. You rub your hand across it like that, the car's sort of going all like this all the way through. sort of exaggerated that. So we'll skim that over and block it all down. And that's what we'll do. The filler work I'm reckoning on this car is probably going to take 2 weeks, maybe like 80 hours, something like that. We'll crack on with that. We won't film it all because it's boring. And then we'll get it into polyester. We'll do a bit more filming then. Okay, we're we're working our way through the filler stage. As you can see, I've come on down through the offside. Adie's over there. He's been working his way down the near side, down the driver's side.
Hello!
So I'm just about to, I've just degreased it, load up all across the back in the boot area. It doesn't look too bad in the camera, but when you rub your hand, it's all a bit wavy and a bit horrible. As you can see from the wing, there's the bits of epoxy which have sort of come back through the filler there. So it's only a light skim, but it just helps get rid of any of those ripples or waves that have been sort of in there from making the car. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to set the GoPro up, do a bit of a time lapse of me loading that up, and then maybe a bit of rubbing down. And that's all we'll probably show of the filler stages, because it's pretty boring, isn't it, Aid?
Crap.
Yeah, that's all we got to say about it. So yeah, once we've got it all shaped up and sharpened up, we'll show you again just before we go into the booth for some polyester. So this is the filler that we're using, U-Pol Easy Ones, good stuff. Done a little load up here, not too big. But that is for the back, so I'll put some hardener in that now. I'll give it a mix up there, that'll be handsome. So we'll mix that up, and then we'll start slapping it in the back. Clean up the filler board from putting the cold lead in the back. And as you saw, we just skim over the whole lot, like skim over everything. So what you need to do before it's too late, you need to go around and cut your panel back in and cut all the filler that's gone in the shut out, because if that goes off in there, you are gonna have a bad day. So we'll just send her around the edge. Yeah, so just make sure you do that. If you are shaping up your car, don't forget to cut the door shuts back open. It is a ball ache if you forget. You basically go around with a little hacksaw blade. So, yeah. You can, if you want, use a bit of soft edge and soft edge in your door shuts to stop too much going in there. Yeah, so that's that. We'll let that go off, then we'll get some guide coat on it and block it down. I'll put that on a time lapse as well. So you can have a look how fun that is. Honestly, you're not going to believe it. You're going to fall off your chair. It's so much fun rubbing this down. Fall off your chair. Yeah. Cool. Shoot my shoe. That's a fuck all bugger. Okay, I finished blocking that area down, as you just seen in the time lapse, and you can also see now how much we block it back, and there's only a really thin amount on there in those patches, and you could, if you really wanted to, you could get rid of that with a polyester primer. But the problem, if you do that, if you end up putting loads and loads of poly on, you build up the solvent, and also it builds up all around here, all in your shuts. It'll build up all around the edges of where the light goes in, and then what will end up happening is it will crack, you'll get solvent pop, you'll run into loads of other issues. So this is the quickest and the most sort of efficient way to go about doing it. So I'm going to skim this again. I'll probably really lightly do the center because it's pretty good, but we'll go around the edges again and then start working down that wing, and then I'll meet AD along the door there somewhere, and he's working down the front. And that's what we shall do. So bear with us, and we will be done in but a jiffy. You know when I said that door gap might give us some issues? Something it might give us a little bit of grief. The front edge of this door, quite close to the edge. You remember when I said that?
I do.
It's something along those lines. One exactly that.
He's giving you the
just
arse.
tightening up the fold, chasing it back a little bit. So I don't want to open the door gap up anymore because there's already a nice door gap. When it opens, it's tight. So I want to squeeze and squish where the fold's over. I want to make that a tighter fold, so it'll give us just enough clearance to open the door, which is nice. I know you can get into a Cobra without the doors open, but it would be nice to open the doors. So yeah, I'm just doing that now. Put it back on and have a look. Have a look. Just need to gain about a millimetre. A millimetre would be nice. I reckon I can do it. It's going to be alright, isn't it?
Don't look
Come and
through
have a
the
look
left
at this
side.
stand. So we've obviously brought it back, so we actually have, look at that clearance that we've got now. So that was just touching the wing before. So we've managed to tap it out and get it back quite well. But I have got to now, I've brought the door out. We've obviously got some height issues. Got a straight edge here.
What, are you talking about 80? It's not very nice.
This will do for a straight edge.
Oh, right.
Or let me get a fresh one.
A fresh straight edge.
You see we've lost our level now. See that? See the gap?
Yeah.
So I'm going to block down through the door again. Get that back, get that door back in.
And close that gap back up.
No, it won't, because the alley's now forward. The other side doesn't touch, but I might do the same on the other side just to stop any further issues. Alright, we can work with that now. Okay, so this is something we would normally do anyway, but more so on this corner as it had a bit of damage. So we've got the shape we want, and now AD's just dropped the light back in. Yes, and then you knock it back to the shape of the light, and then you sharpen up the wing to how you want it. Pretty standard thing from a hand-built car that we do.
They're rubbish.
But yeah, they're rubbish. They're hand-built, they're rubbish. But more so on this because it had a little bit of a whack down that side. So we straightened it up, and then obviously got to get it to match the bits. Even if you put the lights in with it just bare metal, this would fit terrible. The filler work now is pretty much done, and I would say, judging on from when we paint stripped it, I'm pretty sure we got some decent footage of that. Can't remember. But we've definitely got less filler in this than there was before. As you can see, all the epoxy patches sort of breaking through everywhere, especially on the back areas. You can see it all breaking through. So the next job now on the filler stage, Adie's just blown it all off and cleaned it off. We're gonna de-panel the car and then go around all the edges of the panels and the shuts and just tidy up and shape up the edges, and then go around and do any of the sort of little low spots that we need to do just around here, little sort of pinholes and things. We'll do some of the big ones. The little pinholes we won't get too worried about because we'll let the polyester fill those. You know, that's what the polyester is for, polyester spray filler. So we'll let that do the work. Of that, you can spend ages stopping them and going around, but it just goes on and on and on forever. So that is where we are. That is what we're doing. We're going to do that now. Strip the panels off, do the edges, clean it all up, get it in the booth and mask it up, ready for polyester. Thank you. Shall I add anything else or not?
No.
Make sure you comment below and hit the like button for us. Yeah. And make sure you watch some of our other restoration videos, because I might have missed bits out on this, which they'll be on the Alpha ones or the E-Type ones. There's loads of restoration videos going up now, so make sure you watch them as well. Thank you. Alright then guys, we have got the Cobra now, as you can see, into the booth. it's all masked up with the poly mask. Obviously we got the body panels in here as well. So we're masked up everywhere around the body, and we've done it in the sort of the poly mask, which is a lot quicker way of masking it. When we get through to the paint stages, to like the actual colour, we'll change this for paper. It just keeps the dust down a little bit better, but it doesn't matter for the polyester. It's just a quicker way of doing it. We've got the doors down the end there. They're ready to go. So I'm going to start putting the polyester on it and see how it goes. We will end up with about 6 coats of polyester on this. It'll end up being about 6 or 7 litres, and we'll see how it looks. And if it needs any more when we flat it down, we'll do that. So I'm gonna put it on a time lapse. I've got the GoPro up in the corner there, so you can watch me do that. Probably not all of the coats, because it gets a bit tedious and boring. And then we'll bake it off and we'll get it out next week. I was gonna wait till Monday to polyester it, but I've decided to do it now, over the weekend. And then we can start putting the panels back on next week and blocking it down. So I'll take you out now and show you the polyester. So this is the polyester we're using, the Max Mayer. So I've just chucked some in here and thinned it down. It's thinned about 3 to 1, and then we put this additive, the hardener, in there to make it go off. So yeah, we'll end up using 6 or 7 tins of this to cover the whole car, and that should give us a good sort of base to flat down and work with. So I'll be using the DeVille Bis to put the primer on. It's 1.6. So yeah, I'll crack on with that now and put the GoPro on. Okay, that is all the polyester on now. We ended up doing 5 coats. I put the last coat on and decided not to go for 6. I was happy with the 5. So I've been around it with the brush. I've touched in any of the pinholes which were in the filler, any that we can see. So it's nice to do them now, then there'll be less further on through the stages when we go, but we're always looking for imperfections to sort out. So I've done that, and I've got guide coat in the gun, which is just all the leftover base coat from some of the smaller jobs that we do. Just put it into a pot, and then we'll use it now for the guide coat. So I'm going to spray that on, I'll put it on a time lapse, and then I'll give the whole car a bake. Alright then, as always, Aid's doing all the work. I'm just walking around talking on camera. Just turn that off for a minute and upset Adrian. Keep doing. So we've been round the body, scuffed out all the shuts with some sanding sponge, 180 all around the shuts. Repanelled the car, got all the levels back how we want them, and AD now, as you can see,
hello,
has started blocking it down. So he's on 120 at the moment. Grit just to knock through the tops, and you can see on here what the guide coat is doing. These sort of lines which are in it here are all in the filler from the 40 grit and the 80 grit. So we'll be able to block them down until they've completely gone, but it'll also show you, which hopefully there won't be too many, this is sort of an area coming through here, sort of slightly low, so you can block that so you can see the high spots and the low spots and block it until you're happy with it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That is what we're doing. So we'll go over the whole shell, and then we'll give it a 240 as well on the blocks. And if there's any issues, bits we don't like, normally if it breaks through to the metal or the filler, we'll patch polyester that bit again before we go into the final prime. That is what we're doing. Thanks for listening. Any questions? Put them in the comments. Aidy's now finished blocking down the Cobra, or the polyester, and we are now just about to drop it back down on its wheels. I'm going to go back in the booth and just patch polyester just down this wing, and then there's a little bit just on the back wing here on the top that we're going to do as well. Nothing like what we done before with it, like, you know, heavy 5 coats. It will just be a couple of coats. We're happy with the shape, but we just want to seal back in the filler and the bare metal. So we'll do that and then block that down, and then it should be ready for a clean up and to go into its final prime, as long as we're all happy with it. So I'm going to drop that down now, get it in the booth, and that is what we're going to do. All right, we've done those couple bits of polyester that we said about. Steve's just putting some guide coat on. So we ended up just flicking over sort of the tops of the wings and around the arches. So we're going to get it out the booth now and start blocking it down, getting it ready for its final prime.